Today we are riding the Oklahoma Streetcar. The Oklahoma Streetcar was built by, I believe it was a MAPS 3 program. The MAPS program went through versions 1, 2, 3, and I believe is now in phase 4. And I think the Streetcar was done on phase 3. Now what those phases are just different reiterations of the same program. It is a 1 penny sales tax in the city of Oklahoma City meant to improve the city. Now the Streetcar would be one that I'm not sure I agreed with the improvement of making the Streetcar, because I think a bus could kind of do the same thing without being forced to ride a track. The Streetcar rides a track that's embedded in the street. So it actually follows a hybrid of rules where it has to follow normal traffic rules and train rules all at the same time. So it is a unique system, and the Oklahoma City Streetcar rides kind of a small area. We're going to take the larger path today, which goes through downtown Oklahoma City and Bricktown, which is another part of downtown Oklahoma City. Today it is a windy day in Oklahoma, and it's a little bit cloudy and overcast, and even at times a hair drizzly. And that's great because Oklahoma City has not seen rain in quite some time, so everything is dry and dusty and really needs the rain. So in a way, we're hoping today that the rain comes. Hey, let's go grab our ticket to hop on the streetcar and wait for our next streetcar to come in. So we have a map here of where the streetcar goes. The pink loop travels farther. It goes through all of downtown and Bricktown. The blue loop does only Bricktown. So we are at kind of the main stopping point, is kind of what I would think for the streetcar. Here is a view of Devon Tower on a cloudy day. Now outside of the little bus stop area, we have Scissortail Park right here, the Convention Center, and we have Paycom Center where the Oklahoma City Thunder plays. So it is really in the heart of downtown Oklahoma City. Now, right here underneath Devon Tower, where you see those trees, is the Myriad Botanical Garden. And that is going to be, I believe, our first stop when we take the streetcar. So we'll look around and see what we see while on the streetcar. As we wait, I bought an all-day pass for the streetcar, which cost me $3. It's a very affordable way to get a fairly quick tour of downtown Oklahoma City. Now, one of the interesting things about Oklahoma City is we are only touring a very small part of Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is actually, I believe, at 620 square miles of land. It's a very large city, but downtown Oklahoma City is really only a handful of blocks compared to that. To put it in comparison, Oklahoma City is 620 square miles, and the state of Rhode Island, the entire state, is about 1,000 square miles. So Oklahoma City is a little more than half the size of the entire state of Rhode Island. So it is a large area to cover. It is one of the larger cities in the entire country. Oklahoma City, by landmass, is larger than LA. It is larger than Houston. It is larger than Chicago. So it is large. So as we wait for this train, we'll hop on and we'll take our quick tour of downtown Oklahoma City. Here we go. It looks like we are going to hop on the green streetcar. They are in different colors. I believe there's a green, a pink, and a blue. I'm not sure what other colors they have. This one is going for the outside of this split into the station. And we're going to hop on. All right, we are up and on the streetcar. We're riding in the back. Here's what a driver's cabin looks like.
Always cross at the crosswalk.
All right, let's take a seat and let's see where we go today.
This is the downtown loop, serving all stops.
All right, so we just reached an intersection, and just like any other automobile, the streetcar needs to stop at an intersection. Here we are approaching Myriad Botanical Gardens. What you see right here, that kind of roundish looking building through the trees, is actually a merry-go-round. A lot of the outdoor areas of Myriad Botanical Gardens are completely free to enjoy. And then there is the Crystal Bridge. You can see it there, which is like a big greenhouse, and there is a fee to enter the Crystal Bridge. Inside the Crystal Bridge, it is kind of like a tropical environment almost. It's warm, it's humid, and there are a lot of different types of plants. And here we are, stopped at the station for Myriad Botanical Gardens. And now we are on our way from Myriad Botanical Gardens. The next stop is the Library of downtown Oklahoma City. So this building here is part of the Devon Tower. I guess it'd be like an annex type building for the large tower. And coming up is the parking garage for people who work in the tower. So here is the Oklahoma City Municipal Building, which is across from the library stop.
Next stop.
And here we go. You see the transit center starting to come into view, where all of the buses come together. Just beyond this parking lot, you see those buses moving around. We'll get a better view as we drive by, but right now we are stopped at the transit center.
Embark bus transfers. Please take all personal belongings. Next stop, Federal Courthouse.
And there's the transit center. All right, now coming up.
Next stop, Federal Courthouse.
Okay, now coming up, we are going to come up to the Federal Courthouse. Now, the Federal Courthouse is right across the street, actually, from the Oklahoma City bombing site. So this loop is pretty small. It's pretty strange how you can be in one area and not even realize like right next to you is another area. So here we go. This is not the Oklahoma City bombing site stop, but you are now looking at the Oklahoma City bombing site. This is the backside of what would have been the Murrah building over here. And on the other side of this area is the museum for the Oklahoma City bombing. Now we are going to make a left. And this street is called Automobile Alley. What is on this street are buildings that used to be like all of the automotive dealerships. So it is actually called Broadway Avenue, but referred to as Automobile Alley. And you'll see on the light poles, there are signs that refer to Automobile Alley. So many of these buildings were automotive dealerships. And in the sidewalk, there are like brass plaques that will tell you what each building is as you approach a building, or what each building used to be. There are neat little niche like boutique type stores in here. There are some good places to eat, but overall, there's not a whole lot of Automobile Alley. During Christmas time, Automobile Alley has lights on the front of every building. Actually, we see right here, I don't know how well you can see it, this building already has the lights put on the front of it. So they're getting ready for Christmas time and Christmas lights. And this entire alley is lit up beautifully during Christmas time.
Arriving Automobile Alley stop.
There's the Plenty Mercantile. The Plenty Mercantile is kind of like a cross between gift shop and boutique shop with a lot of neat items, quite along the lines of a gift shop.
Next stop, Art Park, sponsored by Oklahoma Contemporary. To request a stop,
All right, in a moment we're going to make a left-hand turn to essentially go back down towards downtown Oklahoma City. As you see, this doesn't go too far out. It's pretty small of a loop. And coming up, you actually see the Oklahoma City Tesla dealership, and there are actually Cybertrucks out on the lot today. From what I understand, none of them are available for a test drive because any Cybertruck on this lot is already claimed and spoken for by a customer. Alright, now here's one of those times when the streetcar follows a slightly different set of rules than the rest of traffic. Everybody else had to stop so that we could make this left-hand turn. So all the traffic lights are red, but there is a separate traffic light that is streetcar specific that uses like a white straight line. It doesn't use the red, green, and yellow approach that a typical traffic light has. Coming up is a soda fountain, if you will, called Kaiser's. It's been here for quite a long time. They tend to serve coffee, ice cream, and like hamburgers. Now the streetcar is made up in essentially 3 sections. There's a front and a back, and then a middle. The front and the back are identical. You could go either direction, I guess, from it, or they can swap it around and drive from the other side. The middle section just connects the front and the back.
Streetcar departing.
Our next stop is going to be the School of Law. That is going to be on our right side. So let's hop over to that side. There are quite a few raindrops on the window on that side, but that's okay. We'll be able to see anyway. And as you see, the streetcar is on the street passing cars parked on the side of the road. And if you park a little too far out, you're going to lose a mirror or stop the streetcar from actually operating. So here is the Oklahoma City University School of Law. And the federal courthouse building is only a couple blocks down from here. So it is quite the convenient location for the School of Law. And while we're stopped, if we look, see, we are in traffic. And cars really can't get around us, so if we don't go, they have to wait. So coming up is going to be the Oklahoma City bombing site. The Memorial Museum will be right here. The museum is at the other side of this building here. This here is called the Survivor Tree, which we're having a hard time seeing right now. Down this walkway is the Survivor Tree. Here to the left, it's hard to see through all the raindrops. That dark side is one side of the memorial, and then that water is a reflecting pool. Here is the other side of the memorial. And to the left here, behind this wall, was the Murrah building. That wall is actually part of the original Murrah building that was bombed in the Oklahoma City bombing. So right here behind this building is the location of the original phone exchange for Oklahoma City. And the address of the building is number 405, which is actually where Oklahoma City gets its exchange from. Oklahoma City phone numbers start with a 405, and then the 7 remaining digits are your individual phone number. So it's just interesting to me that that's where the original exchange is. It had all the phone switches, all the phone lines for the entire city came and connected through there. And then they picked the area code based on the address of the building.
Next stop, Century Center. Sponsored by National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum. To request a stop, please press the blue stop request button.
So the building here is actually Griffin Media, which is home of News 9, one of the local Oklahoma City news channels, and News 9 and this building were in the movie Twisters. Now straight ahead we're looking at what is now Prairie Surf Studio. It used to be the Cox Convention Center, which was the Oklahoma City Convention Center, but they built a new convention center and no longer needed this and leased this building to Prairie Surf Studios. Now they have decided not to renew the lease for Prairie Surf Studios, which really upset Prairie Surf Studios since they've brought real filmmaking to Oklahoma City. But the intention is they are going to tear down this building and build a new arena for the Oklahoma City NBA Thunder basketball team. Now while they were putting this big TV on the side of this building, the crane actually had an accident and it swung and hit the building across the street. Alright, as we move along here, we're going to go underneath a bridge, and that bridge is actually the main railroad line, which carries a lot of freight traffic. But as we go under that bridge, we will then cross into the area known as Bricktown. Now, Bricktown used to be like old brick factories is what it is. And they put a canal in Bricktown using, I believe it was the MAPS program, like the first iteration of the MAPS program, which might have been MAPS 1. They dug out a canal and put a waterway in here, which actually has electric boats on it. That will take you on a little tour of Bricktown. They call it a water taxi, but it is not a taxi because you hop on and get off all at the same point. So this is Bricktown. They've turned what used to be a rundown factory abandoned district into a really nice area. Now this red building that we're looking at is actually the American Banjo Museum. Now next to the American Banjo Museum is an empty building. It just emptied. It was Abuelo's Mexican restaurant, and I believe it had been there for 30 years. Now this other building with the copper looking kettle on the front is Bricktown Brewery. Bricktown Brewery is well known in this area. They are really a good hamburger joint is mostly what they are, and they do have some of their own brews of beer.
Arriving Mickey Mantle stop.
We are now approaching the end of Bricktown. We are going to make a right-hand turn to start our loop back towards the Myriad Botanical Garden area. And after we get to Myriad Botanical Gardens, we will essentially turn left to go back to the station where we started. But before we get there, there's one or two more sites along the way. We have the OKC Ballpark, which is where the Oklahoma City Comets play, which is a minor league baseball team for the LA Dodgers. Now, it used to be called Oklahoma City Dodgers, then they renamed to just Oklahoma City Ball Club, and now just this week they have renamed to the Oklahoma City Comets. I'm going to move to the other side, which is where the ballpark is. So we are currently at the back side of the ballpark. And as we go around the corner here, we will see the side of it and then the main entrance to it. But before we get around the corner, to our left over here, there is a Bass Pro Shop. The canal is behind this Residence Inn that we are looking at. As we turn the corner here, the canal is straight in front of us. Actually, there's a waterfall straight ahead that is on the canal. So the little water taxi will take you for a tour down there. There are some great restaurants down in here. And then here is the Sonic headquarters building coming up on our left-hand side. And the back side of this Sonic building has the canal running right behind it. And you can walk along the canal. Now I'm going to move to the right-hand side of the car because on the right-hand side is the ballpark. So this is the Chickasaw Ballpark, which is, as I said earlier, where the Oklahoma City Comets play. In a moment, we're going to go under a bridge again, which is, again, that railroad that the freight lines go on. And when we go under that bridge, we will be leaving Bricktown and re-entering downtown Oklahoma City.
Next stop, Arena, sponsored by Riverwind Casino.
So now as we come up here, on our left will be the Paycom Arena, which is the arena where the Oklahoma City Thunder plays.
Arriving Arena stop.
So here is the arena now, and on this side of the arena, or the street, is the what was the Cox Convention Center, which is now Prairie Surf Studios, which is slated to be demolished and turned into the new arena for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So they are essentially just moving the arena across the street.
Next stop, Scissortail Park, sponsored by Integris.
We will make this left, and then we will end up right back where we started. This entire ride takes only about 45 minutes, and that includes waiting for the streetcar to stop and hold for a few minutes at a couple points along the way. I believe it stops and holds because it gets ahead of schedule, and it tries to run a consistent 45-minute loop, doing the large loop. So if you do what we just did and take this ride, it only takes 45 minutes to get a quick, inexpensive tour and overview of Oklahoma City. At least downtown Oklahoma City. So as we approach our stop, we're going to get off. I hope you had a great time touring Oklahoma City with me. Don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know where you would like to visit next. So that was our train, that was our streetcar for our ride, our tour of downtown Oklahoma City.
This is the downtown loop, serving all stops.
And here you can see what the driver cabin looks like. Both sides of the train are identical. And there goes the green streetcar. Goodbye, green streetcar. Thanks for taking us on a tour today.